Hey, hello, good evening. Edita, Julia, Zibi, Magda, really nice. Okay, and we have 32 people right now upon checking. Powell, very nice. Okay, thank you. Let's just wait for the others to join the webinar. I can see that they are trying to join the web today. Anyway, finally, Friday, as I can say, and it's really good to have another, weekend that's ahead of us, isn't it? So that's really nice to think about. Yeah, this day is about to finish in just few hours, and then you can take some rest too. Okay, so my name is Marian, and I'm from the Philippines. For those who doesn't know me yet, and I hope that you will like my presentation today about punctuation errors. And today's lesson, let me tell you, if you are writing email or sometimes making some formal letters, or maybe you are a student and you are actually writing some essay, reports, articles, or maybe blogs in English. Okay, this lesson is for you today. And I hope that you will find it useful because, of course, utilizing correct punctuation won't help you make friends or boost your business, but using punctuations incorrectly will make your work, your book, your magazine, your catalog stand out, even if people cannot pinpoint your mistake most of the time. Something will look off about your message, making people less likely to trust what you're trying to say. So it's always best to check your writing for common punctuation mistakes so you don't inadvertently alienate those who will be reading your material. So that is why the lesson for today is really important for us to be able to, of course, minimize the errors in the future. Yeah. So and after our session today, with the sample common punctuation errors I'm going to share with you, we're going to have a little bit of practice exercise, just to check. Okay, so I am actually counting for your cooperation, and I hope that you'll be there. And until the end of this webinar, for us to do the exercise. Okay, so let's start with this is the first one, as you can see, apostrophes. Apostrophes are also used for contractions. Like shouldn't, it should be, should not, but we also use, we are contracting it, shortening a word. So as you can see here, extraneous apostrophes, meaning to say we are using a lot of apostrophes, extras. The problem is people putting apostrophes where they don't belong. Yes. Examples, as you can see, it is all yours. $5 off. So as you can see here, some are actually using or putting apostrophes in a way that it shouldn't be there. In this case, you want the plural form of the word. So just add an S, add an apostrophe if you need the possessive form. Like, for example, that is my wife's car. If we're talking about ownership, then that's the time that we can use apostrophe S, or maybe in contractions. Okay. But if it is something like plural, not really. No need for apostrophe S. Yes, Agatha, Renata? Yes. Okay, great. Peter, that's really nice. Andre. Okay, let's continue. Next would be, of course, unnecessary quotation marks. If you want to emphasize a specific part of your message, you use bold or italicized font. Yes. Okay. If you are familiar with some functions of Google Docs or maybe Microsoft Word, and you would like to emphasize a specific part of your message, we can just like use bold or italicized point font, sorry. The problem is the use of single or double quotation marks when nothing is being quoted. So, for example, we offer the best price in town. We are using quotation mark if actually something is being quoted. Like another person said it, and then you're actually like quoting it. That's actually the use of quotation mark. If you're not quoting something, don't use single or double quotation mark. In this case, this is actually like emphasizing a specific phrase in your message. So you can just highlight it or use a different font, bold or italize in this case. All right. Okay. Next would be missing commas. Yeah. Okay. As you see, insert commas when you pause or when you change gears within a sentence. Without commas, sentences can become run on blocks of text without any breaks. Someone who is actually reading it will just read it continuously. For you to avoid it, okay, is speak the sentence aloud and take note of any breaks in your speech. So, for example, I went to the store, but they were closed, so I went home. That's how you will say it because it doesn't have any comma. So it should be I went to the store, but they were closed, comma, so I went home. You see, with breaks, it makes, with commas, it indicates breaks or a little pause in your sentence, which makes it more natural for the reader to understand what you want to say. Yeah. Okay. Next would be too many commas. Okay, earlier we have problem with missing commas. Now there are some people who is actually like writing a lot or are using too many commas in the sentence. If you think you have too many in a single sentence, consider replacing a comma with a period to create separate sentence. Example, okay, just the opposite of missing commas. It's possible to include an excessive amount of commas in one sentence. So how to avoid it? Well, while there's no set rule for how many commas constitutes too many, your eyes are the best judge of overuse. Meaning to say, there are no rules really that how many commas you can use in a sentence. No, but then somehow, of course, you can like judge your material or your work whether you are using too much comma, or you can maybe separate the sentences by actually using a period perhaps. For example, I went to the store, but they were closed. So I got in my car, turned my radio on, backed out, and then went home. You see, there's a lot of pause in this sentence wherein we can actually try to make it two separate sentence anyway. Okay, next would be excess exclamation. Oh, of course, this is one another common mistake. The problem, too many exclamation points in a body of work overwhelms the reader and devalues each individual exclamation. For example, as you can see, our products are the best. They really work. Get yours today. As you see, there's too much exclamation in this case. So to avoid this, be tasteful with your exclamation point. Save them only for the big points and for the end of the paragraph, leaving the reader on a high note. Again, it's much better if you're going to use the exclamation at the end of the paragraph so that the reader will have a high note at the end. Okay. Next, another one. Oh, this one. It's with apostrophe S and it's. So it's all too easy to misuse this word because the rules are different. See what we did there? Yes. It's versus it's. I don't know who it's going to hurt more, you or me. Look into its eyes. Now, as you see, if you're gonna read the example, okay, it's kind of, yeah. Although it can be confusing, let me tell you. The word it's without apostrophe, like for example, the dog lost its bone. This is a possessive pronoun in which that this is more on ownership. Yeah. Even though it doesn't contain an apostrophe. A simple test to actually check uh, if you can substitute the word it is or it has. If so, then it's with apostrophe s is correct. If not, then it's without apostrophe is probably correct. You got me? So remember that it is a short for it is with apostrophe s or it has, past tense, where the apostrophe designates a contraction and isn't possessive. Yes, you got me? It's with apostrophe versus it's without an apostrophe, which is possessive. Okay. Next, another one. Of course, this is also another mistake. Let me tell you. In the United States, it has become commonplace to skip the last comma, especially in journalism. But the debate about it, which is right, continues. It's a matter of preference, actually. Just keep it consistent in everything you write. If you think that you need, or you feel like putting a comma in the last part of your sentence, let's say for example, it's okay. Let's say that is following the British English grammar rule, let's say for instance, but then in United States they are not actually doing that. Remember, just be consistent in everything you feel, right, when it comes to a matter of your preference. The problem is the lack of consistent method for using commas in lists. You know, when you're writing a list, can be infuriating for grammar pros and casual readers alike. The Oxford comma, which is the comma before the final item on a list, is the standard in British writing. Let me highlight this, okay? When we say Oxford comma, this is the comma before the final item on the list. It is standard in British writing. Now, in America, in US writing, let's say, they don't really use comma before the final item in the list. Okay? So, example with an Oxford comma. My favorite foods are pizza, comma, spaghetti, comma, and steak. While in America, for example, while in US, American English writing, my favorite foods are pizza, comma, spaghetti, and steak without comma on the final item on the list. You see, right? So regardless if you use, let's say, British writing or American writing, okay, they are both correct. It's just that, of course, it depends on what you are actually following. Just be consistent, like I said. There's no right or wrong when it comes to Oxford comma. Okay, this is just to let you know about that. Next would be hyphen. Hyphen, all right, and dash, as you can see. Hyphen is just actually a little bit small, as you can see, and dash is longer. All horizontal lines in text are not created equal, by the way. So, good example using a hyphen. Our products are built with high grade steel. Hyphen is something like joining two words. Mhm. Good example using a dash. For example, I prefer chocolate milk. Dash. It's tastier than plain milk, but I really like strawberry milk. Dash. Although the pink color bothers me. dash because the taste seems richer. Mm-hmm. Right? So you see, when we use hyphen, again, one more time, a small line, this is to combine two words to create a single idea. While it's most frequent use to combine two words into an adjective, high grade. Use a dash, a longer line with space before and after, to indicate that you're moving on to a separate idea or train of thought. You got me? Yes, that is the usage of hyphen and dash. Okay, good. Next would be semicolons versus colon. Perhaps maybe you have that in your keyboard, even though you've got maybe polished keyboard. I don't know what keyboard you have there in Europe, but then maybe you've got this keyboard with different punctuation marks. Okay. The problem is that semicolons are often misused, particularly where a colon should be used. You know, a colon is something like this, and a semicolon is this dot and a comma together. Example to avoid, okay? I brought three things: a toothbrush, a blanket, and a pillow. Yeah. Good example would be I am glad to be going on vacation. I need the rest from work. So, how to avoid this? Use a colon if you want to set a list of items. One more time. We need to use a colon, okay? Two dots if you want to set a list of items. If you want to separate two related but distinct thoughts, use a semicolon. So as you can see here, it means here in this sentence, I brought three things. It should be colon, two dots, because you're talking about a list of items. In this case, it's correct. They are two related ideas. Vacation and then rest from work. Yes? Okay, good. Next, one more time. Last but not the least of our common punctuation error is quotation mark placement. So, let's read first the problem. Sentence ending punctuation marks, yes, okay, often go outside of quotation marks rather than inside, which is where they belong. Yeah. Example, I had a great day at work today. You see, the punctuation mark is actually outside the quotation mark. The exclamation point is outside. It should be inside. For example, what time is it? Yeah. This exclamation mark over here should be inside the quotation mark, which is like this. To avoid this, the punctuation is part of the text you're quoting. Remember that the punctuation is part of the text you're quoting, regardless what kind of punctuation it is, whether it's a question mark or an exclamation point, it should be inside the quotation. So the punctuation goes inside the quotation mark. So I need you to note that in American English, the punctuation goes inside the quotation marks, while actually the British punctuate outside of the quotation marks. So if you are on the internet and see punctuation marks outside of the quote marks, maybe the source could be British. Okay, so that's actually the difference between the two. Again, as you can see here, the first example might be an example from a British English material because they actually follow that any punctuation must be outside the quotation mark. Well, this one is in American writing. So actually, in this case, they can be both correct. All right. Yes, that is just to give clarification about this. Now, let's move on. Can we have a little practice today? about these common punctuation errors? I need your help, okay? So you just need to choose whether which one you think is correct when it comes to punctuating these sentences correctly, okay? Oh, we now have 40 people. Great. Okay. Oh, I went to a restaurant. I forgot my wallet. I went to a restaurant, but I forgot my wallet. What do you think, the first or the second? You don't really need to write the whole sentence. You can just say first or second. Okay. Which one is correct? Which sentence is correct? Agatha, Renata, Edita, Andre, Julia, Zibi, Magda, Yadviga, Teresa. Yes, thank you, Edita. How about the others? I went to a restaurant. I forgot my wallet. Yeah, what do you think? So let me tell you, by the way, you just need to try to analyze the sentence. If it is one clause that is actually giving a complete thought in a sentence, if you have a subject and a verb, yeah. In this case, the correct answer is the second one. Why? Because in the first sentence, if we will take a look at it, I went to a restaurant. This is already a complete thought with a subject and a verb, actually. So it should be period or dot, full stop in this case. And then of course another clause, I forgot my wallet, is also a complete thought. It has a subject and a verb. So as you can see here, that is why number 2, I went to a restaurant, comma, but I forgot my wallet, which makes it one full sentence. Right. Thank you, Anya. Next, one more time. It's okay. No problem. Let's try again. This book is hers. This book is hers. What do you think? With these common punctuation errors, which sentence is correct? You think so? The first or the second? Which is correct? You can just like write one or two. We are considering that you are actually trying to say that is correct. Okay. Anyone? It's okay. Okay. Yes. Anya, Joanna, Ola. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Yes, Edita. And the correct answer is number 1. That is right. Because that is possessive. Yes, thank you, Renata, Anya. It's possession. So we need to use without apostrophe. Next. They don't go to school today. What do you think? They don't go to school today. First or second? Sentence is correct. Yeah? Anyone? What do you think? All right. Thank you, Edita. That's fast. They don't go to school. So this one is quite easy, as I can say. Thank you, Magda. Yes, Julia, Agatha. Correct. We need to put apostrophe because it's a contraction of do not. Very good. Next. She said, I had a great time today. Okay, so let me tell you that in this case, we need to follow American writing for this practice that we have today. The American writing. For the quotation marks, by the way. She said, I had a great time today. Let's try following the American writing or maybe British writing. Okay, let's say British writing. That is the source. British writing. Which one is correct? Okay, American. Yeah, okay. So to be honest, like we said earlier, both are correct. You just need to actually check whether the source or maybe the one that you're talking to or the one that you actually want to follow is the is the British writing or the American. Thank you, Edita. American is number 2, British is number 1. Very good. Okay, but I got a British answer. Next, let's continue. Its fur was the prettiest at the pet shop. Okay. Its fur was the prettiest at the pet shop. Remember that in this case, for you to check whether you need apostrophe S or what or not, try to actually check whether it is the word it the phrase it is actually good in the sentence. Yeah, because remember with apostrophe S, it's actually a contraction. So what do you think is the correct sentence here? It's with apostrophe or it's without apostrophe? Yeah. What do you think? We're talking about possession in this case. Possession. Ownership. Its fur was the prettiest at the pet shop. Anyone? Thank you, Edita. All right. It's okay. You can do just a wild guess would do. It's fine. Actually, in this case, it's the second one. Okay. Because this is possession. This one is a contraction. So if we will read it, it is fur was the prettiest at the pet shop. And that doesn't seem to be right. Yeah. Okay. Next, let's try again one more time. Don't quit your job. Let me tell you, with our situation right now, don't quit your job. If you're thinking about it, don't quit your job. This is the sign that you don't quit your job. Yes, thank you, Edita. It's okay, Anya. Yes. How about the others? If you're looking for a sign and you feel like you wanted to give up, maybe this is the sign. Don't quit your job. Okay, so here, very good. Thank you, Agata. Yes, Edita, don't quit your job. It is number 1. Yes, Renata, correct. Next, one more time. Another one. I wanted to get some rest. I couldn't fall asleep. Remember, subject and a verb. Complete thought. A sentence. What do you think? So it should be one full sentence, just like the other example earlier. So if you have a subject and a verb, a subject and a predicate, that is already a complete thought, and it must be separated by a full stop rather than a period, a comma. Thank you, Edita. Exactly. You got it right this time. Very good. Yes. It is number 2. I wanted to get some rest, but I couldn't fall asleep. That makes it one full sentence in this case. Okay, next. Last but not the least for today. Thank you, Agatha. These airplanes, cars, and stuffed animals are the boys' toys. What do you think? We're talking about the list. It's okay, Renata. Yes, Anya. Very good. We're talking about lists. Remember? List and then apostrophe. What do you think? These are planes, cars, and stuffed animals are the boys' toys. What do you think? We've got 2 punctuation mark to actually notice in this case. When you're talking about the list, following the American writing, say for example, do we need to have a comma on the final item? And what about the apostrophe S? What do you think? Anyone? Okay, thank you, Edita. Thank you, Anya. Let me tell you, we never actually use double S in apostrophe. No, never actually. So if you've got letter S already at the end of the word and you want to say it in plural, you just need to put apostrophe without S. So the correct answer is the number one. Yeah, we never actually do it something like this, okay? Yes, just apostrophe because it already has S. All right. Yeah, that's it for today. Yes. And I want to thank you for all the participation and cooperation. And let me close the webinar by saying, as you can see, when it comes to punctuations, it's very important. Woman, without her, man is nothing. But if we try to change the formation of this punctuation, woman, without her man is nothing. Yeah. So as you can see, there is a big difference when it comes to putting punctuation, as it can give total different meaning to the sentence. So thank you. And I rather actually choose this quotation. Woman, without her, man is nothing. Excuse me for all the boys out there, okay? I hope that you find the webinar useful today. All right, for the common punctuation errors, as this is also another useful, I can say, information in English when you are actually writing an email, an essay, a blog, article, report. And I hope that you're able to have takeaways for today. Yes. And at the same time, it's Friday, finally. And I hope that you would participate in a similar event next week. All schedules are up there. So I will see you again. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. All right. See you all soon and see you on the platform. Thank you. Goodbye for now.